Greetings and welcome to another user's review. Now I do these user's reviews of cameras, camera equipment and accessories and so on and so forth for only one reason, and that is to share with you what I've learned about the product. No one's paid me to do this, no one's promised me anything to do this, no one's given me anything to do this. I do this simply because I've used the product extensively, therefore I call it the user's review, and I've found a lot of value in it, and I've learned some things about how to use it, and I want to share it with you, and I hope it's going to help you do the creative work that you like to do with cameras and camera equipment. So, having said that, gotten it out of the way, let's get on with it and actually get down to the real review. The products I plan to share with you today about are made by a company called Fotodiox. Now, Fotodiox makes literally hundreds of adapters for lenses to fit on, third-party cameras. These particular adapters are made for the new Nikon Z mount. So they're really sorely needed because the Nikon Z mount doesn't really have that many native lenses that can be used with it. But with these adapters, the whole world of lenses is opened up to be used on the Nikon Z mount. Now, Fotodiox makes this particular adapter under the name Vizelex. Now, the Vizelex adapter is an adapter that includes a variable neutral density filter. Now, anyone who shoots video knows that the neutral density filters are usually screwed onto the ends of lenses, and you have to have different sizes to fit on to different size lenses. You might have like 4 EF mount lenses, but all the sizes of the lenses themselves in the front differ. 72 millimeters, 77, 80 millimeters, 16.8 millimeters, and so on and so forth. So you have to buy different variable neutral density filters to screw on each one of those. And not only that, you have to keep track of them too, and that can be a real mess. Well, I don't know about you, but anyone who does running gun shooting, handheld shooting, there's so many parts, so many loose parts, so to speak, when you're doing video, that the more you can simplify what you're doing, the better. And especially if you can improve your lot with a particular piece of equipment, it's even better than just better. Now, the beauty of these adapters, this Vizelex adapter, this is the one that you can mount the Nikon F-mount lenses with. The beauty of these adapters is when you have the variable neutral density filter built into the adapter itself instead of on the front of the lens, is you really only need one adapter and it will work with all the particular type of lenses that this adapter will mount. For instance, this adapter will mount, of course, those Nikon F-mount lenses, and so no matter what size the lens is itself in terms of the front, I'm not going to have to buy different neutral density filters to match it. All I need is this one filter in the back, and it works really great. There's some other terrific advantages to it as well. One of the main other advantages that having your neutral density filter built into the adapter provides to you is something that people who do running gun shooting worry about all the time, and that is when you remove your lens to swap and put another lens in, you expose your sensor, and it's one of the main sources of getting your sensor really dirty and having to clean it often, or actually just ruining a shot altogether because some dust and dirt flew into your camera while the lens was off. Well, when I remove the lens on this particular filter here, as you see, there's the filter, and the filter stands between any dust and dirt or any particles that want to come in between that and the sensor. So when you remove the lens to change another size lens, your sensor is always protected, and that is a monster plus. You know, when you use most neutral density filters that you buy, one of the big problems that you run into is the horrible X. Now, exactly what is the horrible X? The horrible X is that place where when these the two different layers of glass are being rotated, they reach a point where you're at a kind of a crossroads, where you go from the maximum amount of filtering to a minimum amount of filtering. And when you do that, there's a cross there, and you can see it on your screen, and it ruins your video. And even if you get close to it, if you don't run into the horrible X itself, you run into a part of it. So you'll have, your sky will be darkened over here, or you'll get some darkness here, and everything will be light over here. And that's the horrible X starting to creep in to your video. And that's terrible. Well, one of the beautiful things about these particular variable neutral density filters is that you never have to worry about reaching that point. That's not a point of anxiety as you're adjusting your filter, because when you turn the adapter, as far as you can to your left, then the filter gets lighter and lighter and lighter until that's as far as it goes. And when you turn the adapter to your right, the filter gets darker and darker and darker, and that's it. So you never reach that point, that crossroads where you get the cross that ruins your video. I can't tell you how many times that I've used those variable neutral density filters that you fit on the lenses, and good quality filters and all that. But so many times I go back and I put my footage in my editing software, and then there it is. There's something that I didn't see. There it is, that terrible, horrible X that's ruined so many good clips that I've shot. And even if it didn't ruin the clips, it was always a point of distraction, because I was worried about, is that creeping in? Can I see that? Now, I will, to be fair, some neutral density variables actually stop. So you'll get it lighter and lighter and darker, but they'll never reach the cross. But those seem to be the minority, at least in my experience. These neutral density filters inside the throttle adapter, they're really great. And you get perfect, beautiful video. But there's more to the filtering that's really terrific. So what is the more? Well, the more actually I'm going to demonstrate. I'll demonstrate actually with some video, but I want to demonstrate it here so you can see what I'm talking about. This is a variable adapter, a Vizelex, that is made for the Canon EF mount to Z mount. Now, this is not an electronic adapter. This is just a dead adapter, non-electronics, and you really can't use like Canon electronic EF lenses for it. What I use it for is something I think is even better, and that is my Rokinon cinema lenses. And I can mount these cinema lenses that are EF mounts to my Nikon F mount, and they're really wonderful to use and fun to use, and you get some great results, and with very little muss and fuss. Okay, so much for that, but how to use the adapter. Here's the Vizelex, and it's being used to mount this EF mount Rokinon lens. And the beauty of this is that in running gun shooting is that I can continually hold this, never have to leave my hand from support of the camera. I can control my focus, fine focus here. I can control my aperture right here with my middle finger, and right here I can fine control my exposure with the adapter. I never have to take my hand from the camera and start to adjust the exposure here with the variable. It's always right there, literally at my fingertip, and it's really a fantastic, efficient way to shoot. So this is one of the big practical advantages in usage, and you can make some really drastic improvements, especially when you're shooting with clouds and sunshine that are going in and out. Normally you might lose a shot, but because you can vary this and it's right at your fingertips and you can do it so quickly, you can get many shots and get good exposure, and I'll be demonstrating that in a video. Fotodiox does make many other adapters, and including throttle adapters for other cameras. This one right here is made for my Fuji XH1, Fuji X-T3 X mount, and it works great. That's EF to X mount, and it works super. The thing is, I like about these new Nikon adapters is the control wheel for the neutral density filter is just terrific. It's got teeth. You could probably do some some focus pulling with the proper equipment with these teeth, but it really works great for just handheld video, which it frees you up to do a whole bunch of stuff that added equipment always adds in some kind of encumbrance. So this is about the lightest running gun setup that I've ever had, and I've had a lot of them. This particular one right here is for micro four thirds. You see, it doesn't have the teeth in the adapter like the Nikon, but it works extremely well, just as well as anything else. And once you know about these adapters, I just don't see any reason for investing any more money in these variable neutral density filters and this whole array of them that you have to keep track of. It just makes me crazy. Like, where did I put the 72 millimeter filter? I don't know. Is it here? Is it there? And it's, you've got so many parts to take care of when you're shooting video, especially running gun video. So many things to account for. Simplifying this whole filter thing is really a godsend, this by itself. But plus those advantages, terrific advantages, of protecting the sensor when you're making changes in lenses. That's a fantastic one. Having the control of the variable right at your fingertips, that's a fantastic advantage. And never having to worry about the horrible X, that's a fantastic advantage. Any one of those advantages would make you think, man, I've got to use that and get rid of these big variable filters that are stuck on the ends of all my lenses and having to keep track of them. Just any one of those. But when you combine them all together, it just seems like to me a no-brainer.